The movie opens with individuals being questioned about their names, date of birth, and whether they were exposed to any contaminants. The people looked nervous as they were constantly being asked questions. Whit is standing when Lisa approaches and asks if everything is okay. He told her that he is having mixed emotions about going back to work. Even though she was urging him not to go, he insisted on going. Whit went back to work and is being welcomed by Seth and team members. They were preparing for a session, and Seth ordered 3 of the team members to go because they were already dressed. The captain asked Dave about a discrepancy in the slip log, suggesting someone might have made a dirty jump by borrowing time they didn't have, but Dave was dismissive about it. Then the captain asked if he, Dave, and Whit could talk about this later, but Whit said he had to go to his pregnant wife. Then we see a team being sent to a remote mining site. After a while, it shows the team returning and they are screaming and behaving erratically as they come back through the teleportation device. A member named Bernason starts shooting around. This leads to an emergency lockdown. They decided to dirty jump. Dave refused to agree, but he didn't have a choice, so he went and got the black box. He managed to bypass his and Whit's security, but was unable to break Seth's. Whit and Dave teleported. Another team is being briefed about their mission to the mining station Infini. They were told how risky it was, and that 1,600 people had died there. The guy told them about Montoli, who went there after the disaster. Montoli is a research officer who was part of an inspection team sent to assess the mining station Infini following a disaster. However, something went wrong during their mission, resulting in the deaths of the other members of his team. Montoli crippled his Apex device to remain on the facility, which suggests that he may have had a reason to stay behind or was trying to prevent something from happening. While this is happening, they got the news about the West Coast team. They were sent to extract research officer Montoli from the station, but the mission ended in disaster. The team was exposed to an airborne threat, leading to a lethal quarantine. They were informed that no one survived except Whit, who made an illegal jump to the station to escape the lockdown. Even though he left Earth for a few minutes, it equates to a week on Infini because of time dilation. The team's primary mission is to stop the payload that was started by Montoli and to bring Whit back. They were warned that their current technology will be ineffective against the electrical fields on Infini, and they will have to rely on basic equipment. The team went to Infini, the temperature is -70, and it is affecting their equipment. The group is split into different tasks. Boxen and Jackler are tasked with finding Whit, Menzies, Greenwich, and Kent are assigned to handle the payload, and Mannings and Huntington are accompanying the captain to the generators. As they navigate through the station, the team finds bodies. The bodies were frozen, and they all have very unusual wounds. They continue to move forward to find some warmth and get the station's system back online. They got into another room and discovered another body with a wound that goes through the neck without a visible entry. Philippa tries to establish contact with Whit, calling out to him over the comms, but there's no response. They discovered a program, but they couldn't understand the language. They guessed it'd be Latin. Kent tried to work on the program. Suddenly, the air starts purging. They try to figure out what's happening by calling out each other. They noticed someone standing and asked who it was, pointing their guns at him. The guy told them he is Whit. They took him back to the group and they started asking him about what happened. He told them about the miners' attack and how he hid to survive. He told them that they act like a maniac after being infected. He also told them that he blew the external vents and killed everyone to protect himself. They told him he had to help them turn off the payload permanently before leaving. Whit started working on the plan to get the payload offline. He figured the payload was headed to the Pacific Ocean. Whit asked someone to go back to the operations to override because manual override was needed. Menzies went, and Claire and Jacklar followed him. Chester comes and tells Whit that he would have done the same thing to save himself. He was trying to study Whit. Then he asked Whit if he was infected. Whit kept working and he kept asking. The Whit finally told him, frustrated, that he would have already attacked if he was really infected. Then the alarm went off and Whit told them that it was just the alarm for the override. The team got paranoid, but he told them it was because the furnaces are hitting critical. Philippa said it means that the entire place is going down if they hit critical, but Whit kept reassuring them. After a while, they managed to work it out, and Whit told them that the payload is offline. They were happy with their success. As everything was going well, someone who was infected came running and hit the captain with an axe. Rex shot the attacker, but the captain's wound was severe. While they are dealing with this, the infected person gets up and tries to attack Rex. Rex pushed him and shot him in the head. His blood spilled over everyone, and they all got infected except Whit. A small blood was on his arm though. Everyone was screaming and scratching. Whit ran out of the room and told the Menzies to find a place and hide. He tried to jump, but he slipped and fell. He saw his wife while he was passed out lying on the floor, but he woke up to a voice calling his name. Charlie came with a gun calling Whit's name. Whit started moving and disappeared behind tunnels. He told him he just wanted to talk in order to get him to come out. Charlie finally found Whit in front of him, but Jackler came and attacked him. Whit quickly hid. When Jackler left, he went out and picked a gun and started walking around. He found a laboratory and got in. He was starting to show symptoms. Whit found a log that says the entire planet is covered with alien material. It forms a primordial ooze when thawed, and it wants to self-preserve. He learned that the ooze doesn't know what it does to humans, and it just wants to live. Whit heard something and picked his gun and went to the door. Menzies came and put him in a headlock, asking him if he was infected. Whit told him that he wasn't. He let go of him, but kept his gun pointed, trying to make sure that Whit wasn't really affected. Menzies asked how he escaped exposure, and Whit told him he was on the other side of the room. Then he asked him how he ended up with Jackler's gun, and he told him how Jackler attacked Charlie, and that he didn't know how Jackler got infected since he wasn't in the room with them. Menzies finally believed him, and Whit started telling him what he got from the manual earlier. He told him about the mineral opus and its effects on the planet. He told him that the entire plant becomes a living entity when thawed, explaining why it was mined as a fuel source. Menzies said they have to find Chester cause he and Seat are the only ones who can call an early extraction. While they were discussing this, Whit's symptoms started showing up, and he brushed it off saying that he took a fall and that he broke a rib. Rex jumped, shattering the glass to the room they were in, and started attacking Menzies. He made Whit put his gun down by threatening to shoot Menzies. He started asking Whit questions while pointing the gun at Menzies. Both of them tried to convince him that he had a choice not to kill Menzies. Rex shot himself and his blood spilled on Menzies, and he got infected. Whit didn't have a choice but to kill him, so he shot him. Whit got out, and he heard Chester's voice through the speakers. He was trying to send a message to his kids through radio transmission. Whit came and pointed his gun at him and told him to get him out of there. Chester told him that he already called for an early extraction, and they will only stay there for 8 hours. Whit says that they wouldn't be able to last 2 hours, let alone 8. Whit asked Chester to go to the med bay with him and find something to slow the infection, but Chester said he is tired of doing that. They started having verbal fights about going and not going. Both of them were clearly being affected by the infection. Claire is sitting on the ground, drawing her blood into a blood bag. She looked her back in the mirror and saw that her skin was irritated. Jackler showed up and kissed her, and he told her he wouldn't let anything happen to the three of them, and she told him she got rid of it, and he started screaming. Whit heard Jackler scream while he was on his way to the med bay. He got in the med bay, and Chester came from behind. They found Jackler on the ground, and Claire was sitting barely breathing. They asked her if she killed Jackler, and she said she didn't have a choice. She said sorry to Whit because they failed their mission to take him back home. Whit asked her to help him find something that can slow it down, but she died without telling him. Chester pointed a guy on Whit and they started fighting. Whit threw a chair at him and ran out of the room. Chester followed and started to tell him to come out and that he wouldn't do anything to him. Whit ran and slid down with a ladder, and Chester followed him. Whit came from behind and started hitting him with a pipe, and they started fighting again. They were hitting each other, and finally Whit choked him with a rope and killed him. Then Whit went to the mic and started recording a message to Ooze, telling it that it destroyed lives and it chose the wrong way, then commits suicide. After a while, Whit wakes up hearing his name being called. He went following the voice and found the entire team unharmed. The Ooze left their bodies, and they were not injured and alive. The captain told them that he can't explain what happened and that they would be leaving in 5 minutes. He told them they should keep their report simple and that they would do what they did so that no one would be sent here. As they were leaving, Whit saw a human form made of ooze, and one of them was holding his wife's picture that he brought. They were standing and looking at them as they were leaving. They teleported back and were faced with questions about themselves. They were asked if they were exposed to infections. Everyone was getting frustrated, but answered each question, and they finally got cleared out. Whit went to his wife and she greeted him crying, and he hugged her back. The journey to Infini was over, but the memories of what they had endured, the lessons learned, and the love that had sustained them would remain, indelible and enduring. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.